Hi guys, I've got my coffee now. I apologize that I have my top off. It is hot, like we're talking serious hot today. Oh my god, I'm just gonna put some water in my coffee. I'm literally, it's unbearable. In the UK, since when does the UK get this hot? So hot. So it's Louis in the UK. I'm an avid Elvis fan. Been a fan since the early 70s when I was a tiny little child, that big. And I just have this inner energy that exerts, what's the right word, that shines through me. Ever since I discovered Elvis Presley, I can't even explain it to you. My brother's an Elvis fan. I have a twin brother. His name's Andreas. And he's an Elvis fan, guys. But he doesn't have this connection that many of you do have. This sort of fire. Which has obviously led to us defending Elvis Presley. Now, someone did message. I don't want to talk about the subject. I'm not even going to mention that name on any more videos because I don't want it to turn into something different than it is. I'm just defending the fans. Hi, Sandra. I'm just defending the fans. At the same time, we defend Elvis together with Team Elvis. Helping Livy out because Livy was good enough to let me know what had happened to her. So I'm doing what I can for her because I know it upset her. That's it. That's enough on that subject. Other people are going to deal with that subject now. So I want to just have a bit of fun, guys. My wife is out. She's feeling much better, by the way, guys. She's definitely recuperating really well from such a serious operation. She's still got a journey ahead of her. I'm very optimistic. And the kids are with her, so they're not climbing on me. The live that we did last night with Yasmin, my 7-year-old, taking her to the park, and then a complete stranger started talking to me, I just found hilarious. Because this is an Elvis, channel defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth, so that whole live just completely went on a tangent. Still, I've watched it back, and I just thought it was funny. The truth is, I'm just a guy at home in the UK from Weston-super-Mare, which is near Bristol, who just loves to talk about Elvis, and this channel has evolved because of you guys into what it is now. You guys made this channel happen. Now, we know originally my channel was creating shorts, creating videos. I've done over 4,000 mini documentaries. That's all I was doing. I've been doing it for, I think, nearly 2 years. And for 3 to 5 hours per short, per video. A lot of work went into those. I didn't know how to edit, so I just did the best I could. And it evolved. So eventually I got the impression from YouTube. They wanted me to talk on my videos, which took me about a year to pluck up the courage. Diana, I don't have a topic. Elvis is the topic. One thing we're not going to be today on this particular live is serious. It's not happening. I'm going to have a bit of fun. So, what was I going to say? You've made me lose my train of thought, Diana. So, this channel has evolved to what it is because of the comments that have been coming into me gradually over the last 2 years. So, you can thank yourselves, guys, for how we've turned out so far. I have moved away from making the shorts, making the videos, and the reason, don't worry, Diana, I'm only kidding with you. Come on, get a smile on your face. Right. So the reason I made thousands and thousands of shorts and documentaries, not documentaries, mini documentaries, is because I'm obsessed with Elvis. I just wanted to keep repeating the stories that everyone has seen a million times, but I wanted to put my twist on it. YouTube was sort of reaching out a bit and saying, we want you talking on them to make it your own. So I forced myself to talk on them. After doing quite a few, I thought, oh, I can do this. I can do this talking stuff. I was a bit nervous, very self-conscious at first, but then I got more used to it. And the reason I now do lives every day is because my Volkswagen split screen VW camper van, the engine broke. So I knew that that engine was going to take 2 to 3 weeks to fix. Hi, Madonna. Naji, just share them. Just go onto my channel, go onto shorts and videos. You just share them over. I'm going to play some now, actually. What was it? Every time you speak, my brain goes somewhere else. Vibex, we got the coffee, man. We got it going on. So the reason I got into doing live streams, which I love, by the way. Hi, Jane Elvis. Yo, welcome aboard. Great name, Jane Elvis Presley. We love that. The reason I started doing live streams because my engine blew up. I knew it was going to take 3 weeks to rebuild because I was a mechanic in my life. That was one part of my life because my father was a mechanic. So it was my first job I had, was fixing cars. I eventually went into business, running bars, restaurants, nightclubs. But before that, cars was my thing, and restoring classic cars. So the engine blew up. I knew that that engine was going to take up to 3 weeks to fix. So I knew that I couldn't spend 4 or 5 hours a day making shorts and Elvis videos. I didn't have the time. So what I said to myself was, do some live streams because there's no editing involved. With the live streams, you just turn the camera on, start talking, pick a topic, a subject, whatever, and start talking. So what I started doing was doing it like an hour live stream every morning. No, but I can give you advice. I know a lot about fixing cars, all cars. Anyway, I carry on my little story. I knew that I could do an hour live stream in the morning about Elvis, of course, and then go and spend the day fixing my engine. So every morning I started doing live streams about Elvis, of course. And then after about a week, I started noticing that the live streams were getting good amount of views. So I'm like, oh, the live streams are actually getting more views. My son, the live streams were getting more views than the normal shorts, the normal videos. So I was like, I should start doing more of these live streams. People like them. And that is how we got to where we are today. An electric beach cruiser bicycle. Electric. But come on, if you want to do exercise, Nadia, you need to not have an electric bike. You need a bike that does that with your legs. Exercise is good. Anyway, let's get back onto the topic. So I did say we were going to talk about Linda Thompson. I know the sun's in my face a bit. I'm going to try and play some videos. Yeah, Diana, we like the morning shows. I do in the mornings, I tend to have a topic. At the moment, Diana, we're going to do a bit about Linda Thompson because I promised I would do that. She is one of my favorite of Elvis's girlfriends. And when I say favorite, I mean, she's my type. I think she's beautiful. I think she's stunning. She's a very sexy lady. And I've watched loads and loads of her interviews. I like her. And I've seen her interviews as she's got older. She's still stunning. And I like her interviews. I do get some negative comments about Linda sometimes. Quite a few. Some people have strong feelings about Linda. but we are going to be positive. Yes, we love Linda. And some of my contacts, there we are. See, look, Teresa, Linda. Linda is all about the money. And then we've got Nadia. Linda gets hate. I have noticed that she gets a bit of hate. I'm not going to give her any. Right. So I have made lots of videos with Linda Thompson. So I'm going to just see. All I do, I just go to YouTube. I type in the name Linda Thompson. Now, I don't want to boast, but my shorts and videos have had millions of views. Millions. Yeah, I'm very proud of my shorts. And even I can't believe how many millions. We're talking, if you include Instagram and TikTok, we're probably talking 20 million views. So I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. But I will say this, editing shorts and videos is tiresome and takes ages. So I did get to the point where I'd made too many and it was getting to me. It felt like a job eventually. These live streams that I do now with you guys, Team Elvis, don't feel like a job. They just feel like I'm having a chat with you guys. Elvis Presley, how you going, my friend? No, Sandra, you say whatever you want. Go ahead, Sandra. I welcome any comments. Right, okay. Let's so I'm going to go to YouTube. I'm just going to type in Linda Thompson. See if any of my shorts come up. If they don't, we're going to find them a different way. So we go to shorts. Let's have a look. Here we go. Look, see, look. I've just typed. This shows you the amount of views. Right. I saw a video yesterday telling that Elvis had to kick her out of her house. True? Don't know. I'm not sure. We'll learn things as we go. But one thing I did hear from one of my sources, I think, that, let me just get this right. After Elvis passed away, Linda Thompson's parents, Elvis had helped them move into a house. I think one of them was disabled. And put me right if anyone knows better. Morning, Patricia. Diana, I agree. Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. When Elvis died, Priscilla Presley sued Linda Thompson's parents because they were living in a house without paying rent that Elvis owned. And she wanted them to pay $250 a month rent, which back then was a lot. Yeah, back then was rent. So she actually tried to sue Linda Thompson's parents for a house that Elvis had I don't think he had bought them a house, but I think he had let them live in a house. Am I right? Does anybody know? I'll just give it a second in case anyone knows. Let's have a look. I saw a video yesterday telling Elvis to kick her out of the house. True. Don't know. I've also heard that Vernon wasn't happy with Linda Thompson because she was spending too much. Yes, Vibex, yeah. I definitely love being sent links. I love you guys send me stuff and you give me homework to do, whether you do it on the YouTube or whether you do it on the Facebook channel that we are all very proud of, called Defending Elvis Presley Fans Want the Truth. Defending Elvis Presley Fans Want the Truth. So, yeah. The more information I get, the better. I'm very fortunate at the moment. I've got some very good people giving me great info. And someone gave me, hi, Elvis Presley. Are you okay, my friend? I've got some very good information that was given me today. Okay, just do it on YouTube, Vibex. Do it on YouTube. I've got some very good information today from someone who I now class as a friend. we talk to each other regularly about even more proof that it was not Priscilla's idea to save Graceland. It was not Priscilla's idea to open Graceland as a living museum. So I don't want to do that today. It's too serious. But I've got some actual proof. Right. That it was going to be opened as a museum way before Priscilla come along. Right, let's have a look. Right, Elvis Presley, you keep saying I need MOD. What do you mean? I don't understand. MOD. Just let me know, mate. I heard a few ex-girlfriends say because Elvis didn't like confrontation, he would let the relationships fizzle out after 1 year. Being faithful to Linda, he started having flings at the end. Yeah, and that's what I've read as well. I need mod. We've got 3 moderators. I think that's plenty. Is that what you mean, Elvis Presley? I don't really want to add any more mods. I don't think there's a need. Right, anyway. Who is that? I keep hearing you. I keep hearing my son ruffing around like a little mouse. Are you off, are you? I think, Elvis Presley, I think we've got enough mods at the moment. But thank you. Thank you for offering. Right, let's have a look. I've 2 have come up. And I'm going to play the first one. This one is called Linda Thompson. Now, remember, I made these a year ago. So I may have changed my opinion since I made these. Right. Let's have a look. And also, they're shorts.
He used to always say, I'm intensely lonely at heart.
Like in Vegas, he wouldn't go out of his room, right?
No, we never went out. I mean, the world came to him, literally. He didn't go out and adventure into the world. The Beatles, everybody came to him. Everyone came to him. Barbra Streisand came to him. Everybody who wanted to have an audience with him came to him. He didn't go out.
And he always gave the public everything, right? I mean, he gave a performer. He never threw away shows.
He never meant to throw away a show. There might have been times when he didn't give all he had because he wasn't feeling well. But absolutely, he put his heart and soul into it, and he loved his fans.
Okay, I made about a year ago. Now, this one's a good one. Sometimes you get background music that is annoying. Let's just hope this one isn't one of those. I'm going to also play some recent ones.
Here's a man who has everything in the world going for him. He was the most gorgeous man, I think, physically, who ever lived. Spiritually, he was good. He was solid. Emotionally, he had a few problems. He was still a little boy. Never had an opportunity to fully grow up. He had people doing things for him so much. But he let himself go a lot. It was just tragic. But when you live with someone as closely as we live together, for as long as we live together, you view them as a human entity. You have to live with the vulnerability, the human fallibility daily. And we were together so much because his work was perhaps an hour on stage and a few rehearsals. And the rest of the time we were together. You really can't change another person. They have to do that for themselves. I certainly tried as best I could to curb his improper eating habits, much sleeping medication that he took, sometimes too much of.
Yes, unfortunately, the background music ruins it. She looked great. Now, Teresa has just mentioned the movie that I think there is a movie on YouTube that is called Elvis Presley and the Beauty Queen, which is based on the Linda Thompson story. She's not in it. Teresa, did you know that she wasn't in it? I think maybe she helped be part of it. I don't know, but it's actually watchable. It's with Don Johnson and Miami Vice. Now, I know Don Johnson looks nothing like him, acts nothing like him, but I actually liked it. The quality isn't very good. It's free on YouTube. I thought it was all right. It's a very long film, so brace yourselves, guys, if you want to watch it. Come on, let's try and find something a bit more recent. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
Said about Elvis Presley, some have any special difficulty in around the world, he was the unattainable goal.
Right, I'm gonna
He was simply the man she
put it on my stand.
With for 5 years of her life. Did you have any special difficulty in dating Elvis? How did it affect
Not really, no. Maybe because of my youth or whatever. I'm a very adaptable person, and it just sort of seemed very right and very natural. When you love someone, they suddenly, it wasn't Elvis on the marquee anymore. It was Elvis with a little E. It was just a human soul that I happened to love.
What were dates with Elvis like?
Dates with Elvis consisted of riding golf carts around Graceland, or riding motorcycles or three-wheelers, or going to movies that he had rented out. He would rent an entire theater out and show movies all night. And he enjoyed going roller skating occasionally. He would rent the fairgrounds out and ride the roller coaster 15 times in a row, that sort of thing.
But he would never, ever go anywhere in disguise or try to go...
No, incognito. Yeah. Because he had his own walk, he had his own stance. There was no way that he could really disguise who he was. Not effectively. We tried going out a few times shopping, and we would make it halfway between the car and the door of the store. And, people would just be all over us. They would converge immediately, and we would have to run back to the car. So it was very difficult for him to get out like a normal person.
When do you think Elvis felt the need to be so generous?
It almost got to be second nature with him. It was just a facet of his character, like drinking a lot of water or whatever. That was just part of his nature. And it was really astounding if you just sat back and pondered for a few moments about the extent of his generosity. It was incredible. And it began, he told me the story, and I think it's really a sweet little story. When he was 9 years old, he said that he got saved in the Christian sense. And they were very, very poor in Tupelo, Mississippi, Elvis's family. He said he was dirt poor. And he suddenly was just filled with this wonderful spirit. And all he had in the world were comic books. So he took all of his comic books and he ran out into the street and he started giving his comic books away to all his little neighbors. And I thought, what a really sweet story, because that generosity never stopped. That spirit of giving stayed with him throughout his life.
What kinds of things bothered him? What kind of things did he like to talk to you about?
I think probably the thing that bothered him most was that he was an intensely lonely person at heart. He felt that, he was so alone in his fame and in his thoughts, as we all are. I often said to him, gosh, you possess so much love. So many people love you in so many different ways. And he said, but you don't understand, it's not a personal love. They don't know me. They don't know what goes on inside me, what my thoughts are, what my feelings are, what my background is. They know what they've read and they love me, and I appreciate that love, but they don't love me in a personal way. So it was important to him to have people around that he felt did love him in a personal way.
One such person was T.G. Shepard. T.G., you introduced Linda Thompson to Elvis, and they lived together for 5 years. Tell me a little bit about their relationship.
He thought a lot of her, first of all. She's a real wiry type person who's always very up, and I think she, at times when he was probably down, she could come across with something very funny, because she is that type of person. I think she played a very major role in his life. I think at a time when he may have needed someone to talk with and to spend some time with, Linda was there. I think a lot of Linda.
How do you think you felt about her going into show business?
I don't really know. It's something I never even... I wasn't aware of the fact that she was really getting into it that heavy until recently. I'm sure she had ideas back then that she might have discussed with him. As far as his...
All right. So, do you want me to keep going, guys, or should we do a bit of research? It's up to you. I was just quickly putting some bacon in the air fryer. Let's have a look. That is right. Hi, Jane. How you going? Let's just see what the next bit is. I mean, guys, she's a beauty. Girl, I'm a man, and she's a beauty. Let me just see what she's got to say next.
I really don't know.
I don't think he was terribly happy about it, but nor was he totally against it. I think he felt a little threatened by it.
Did he do anything to help you?
No, nor to hinder me. Just he sort of said, whatever you want, if that's what you really feel that you'd like to fulfill you, then that's fine. And I think that he really was sort of proud because he would say to his friends, he would say, "This is my girlfriend, Linda Thompson. She was a former Miss Tennessee, and she's just appeared on Starsky and Hutch. You'll have to watch her." So I think inwardly he was a little proud, but I think that he did feel a little threatened by it.
What was driving Elvis? Was he always trying to be the king?
He never tried. It just happened. He had no idea that he was as sexy as he was on stage. He was brought up in a Pentecostal church. Emotions are bare and raw, in the South even, but particularly in the Pentecostal religion. They're not afraid to display their emotional content, and they certainly do during services. And he was brought up in that sort of atmosphere. So he was used to moving when he was singing. And that was just a very natural thing for him to do. And he had no idea that it turned a lot of people on and turned a lot of people off.
What got to him at the end? Was it his frustrations or?
I think, yes, he was frustrated in the sense that he had done everything that he could do at that point in his career, and he wanted to progress. He wanted to go on. He wanted to tour Europe. He wanted to make a very legitimate, decent film that would provide him with the proper vehicle to display his acting ability. He could have been a terrific actor, and he was frustrated in that respect, I think.
In show business and in the recording industry, many people move out to the West Coast, out to Los Angeles, but Elvis never did that. He always kept his roots here and kept his home in Memphis. Why do you think he did that?
I think it makes a very positive statement about Elvis's character that he did choose to maintain his home in Memphis, because those were his roots. That's where his family was. And the South has its own sort of culture, its own lifestyle, and a slower, easier pace. And the people here are more salt of the earth people, more normal people. And I think that he tried to maintain some sort of semblance of normality in his life. And that was his way, one of the ways in which he tried to do that. So I think that does make a very positive statement about him, that he didn't get caught up in the Hollywood life, and he wasn't Hollywood.
Knowing Elvis as well as you did, how do you think he would like for people to remember him?
Jeez. Well, I can say how I would like for people to remember him. I think I would like for people to remember that he was a humanitarian, that he contributed greatly to this world, musically and as a humanitarian.
For my
Well, right. If you're just joining me, guys, the reason I have no top on is because it is so hot in the UK. We are talking unbearable heat. So I apologize. Right. A few comments that you just said. I agree with Nadia. That is a lovely interview. That's the way she speaks about Elvis is beautiful. Don't forget, that was a very early interview, probably in the early 80s. I don't actually know what year it was. I don't know if it says. Let's have a look. Let's just see if it says on the description. No, it doesn't say. But I'll tell you what, she gets full respect from me for how kindly she speaks about Elvis and the way she portrays him. She really knows him. And I agree. I personally think she was one of his best girlfriends he ever had. And Nadia also said this, that after the horrible, ugly breakup that he had with Priscilla, and guys, I am very passionate about how ugly that divorce was, and especially later on, the horrible second divorce settlement, which really infuriates me. But we're not going to do that today, because today we're going to be happy. He really did need someone that was grounded. I know she was a beauty queen. She went on to do many acting roles, and she's had a busy life. Yes, she's lived off his name as well, but she's done it, I think, in a respectful way. Now, one of your comments was that she spent a lot of his money, but they all did. All of them did. Every girlfriend that Elvis ever had spent a lot of his money. Elvis spent a lot of his money on them. Do you agree with that? Actually, not Anne-Margaret. Someone just mentioned Anne-Margaret. I'm on about the girls that never had money. Like Anne-Margaret had her own money. She had her own sense of self with her own career as a dancer and a singer and an actress. So she was sorted anyway. She was the female Elvis, wasn't she? Anne-Margaret. So she could have used that as an opportunity to say some very horrible things about him, some very negative things about him. She could have mentioned his weight, his drug taking, if he had a temper, and she could have really gone into the fact that she knew after a year, because the first year they were together nearly every day. She knew that he had started to be unfaithful, that he had other girlfriends and he was going off doing things with different women. She knew, but she doesn't rip into him and say horrible things about him. She just thinks he couldn't help it because he was so successful. He had so much attention from beautiful ladies, the most beautiful women in the world, and that he was a man, a human being that fell for temptation. That, come on, if there's any men watching now, yeah, if you just come out of a divorce, you're in your 30s, you still look great, you still got the gift, the talent of the music, obviously a beautiful man, and every time you do a tour, the women are falling at your feet, the most beautiful women, the most sexy women you can even imagine. What are you going to do? I'm talking to the men now. There's not many men on here, but I'm talking to the men here. What would you do? And it was especially if they were having a few drinks and having a party. I think for Elvis to be faithful to Linda Thompson after a divorce, after a horrible divorce, was almost impossible. Now, that doesn't mean he wasn't a nice person. It doesn't mean he didn't have a good heart. It means he was a human being that gave in to temptation. It doesn't mean you judge his whole life. This is the mistake I think people make. They try to judge his whole life on the fact that he fancied girls, fancied women, yeah? Or the fact that he had times where he went overweight, or the fact that he was so unwell that he took a large amount of prescribed medication, and the fact that he took sleeping tablets sometimes and sedatives and uppers and stuff. They try to judge his whole life on those two things, his medication and the fact that he had many girlfriends. Now, how can anyone judge Elvis's life on those two things? You have to judge Elvis on 1,000 things. And I tell you now, the good massively outweighs the bad, massively. And this is the mistake that has been happening for over 40 years. And this is why people like Priscilla Presley, in my opinion, find it very easy to give the wrong impression to the world about Elvis. I also think the Memphis Mafia, not always, some of them gave the wrong impression about Elvis, which went around the world. And it's very unfair to judge Elvis on those two things. Very unfair. He didn't deserve it. And that's why we're called Defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth. Because when these people take the easy route to call him a binge eater or a drug addict or a adulterer, they're missing the real Elvis. They're missing the true essence of Elvis. This very kind Christian human being that just wanted to help everyone and always put himself second to everyone. They're missing that, the essence of Elvis. Anyway, I'll just read a couple of comments, then we're going to do a bit more with Linda Thompson. Now, Teresa mentioned Anne-Margaret. We'll do a separate live about Anne-Margaret, but this live we're doing now is about Linda Thompson. Let's have a look. Okay, let's have a look. Let's keep going. Yeah, Patricia says she thinks she was very good for Elvis. I do. I don't think you could have got a better person for Elvis after Priscilla. I really don't. Elvis Presley, of course, were friends, my friend. Let's have a look. I think she's got a good heart. I didn't know she was educated. Thanks, Diana. But I agree, Diana. She seems lovely to me. But come on, if someone's going to spend loads of money on you and buy you loads of amazing things, you're not going to say no, are you? Not really. You might say no at first. But if you're poor and you don't have any money, what are you going to do? Sure, she went Hollywood after Elvis, never lived in Tennessee again, and she spent a lot of money too. A lot. Just ask Billy and Joe Smith. I used to really like her, but I can't say that now. Sandra, I'd have to do more research. I don't know enough about Linda Thompson to say negative things about her. And I also think that she really did keep him alive for a while. She did. That when he was extremely unwell and taking over 40 tablets a day, obviously the painkillers and the sedatives and the uppers, she was there for him a lot, but it became too much for her. She didn't see, from the interviews I've watched, she didn't see a future with him because she wanted to get married. She wanted to have children. She felt he was too unwell. So she didn't see a future with him, even though I truly believe that she truly loved him from the bottom of her heart. And even now, and you watch any interview with Linda Thompson, and I've watched loads, you can tell she loves him and still loves him. Now, I believe her. When Linda Thompson says that she loved Elvis, I believe her. When I hear Priscilla Presley say, he's the love of my life, I still love him, I don't believe her, in my opinion. And the reason I don't believe her is because of the way she treated Elvis, because of the horrible divorce settlement, the way she was unfaithful to him with Steve Peck, the dance guy, with Mike Stone, the karate champion, during the marriage, just after Lisa Marie was born. So when I hear her say, I still love him, unfortunately, it infuriates me. It drives me potty. Because how can you be unfaithful just after someone's had a baby, with Steve Peck, and then a couple of years later with Mike Stone, secretly see Mike Stone behind Elvis Presley's back for a year before he finds out, then demand a divorce in 1972, and then have a divorce, a horrible, horrible divorce, by the way, then have a divorce, and then spend the next 40 years saying the types of things that she has said, and also saying he's always been the love of my life, I still love him. It doesn't add up. This is the problem. Now, I'm not being hateful to Priscilla here. I'm just breaking it down, giving you my opinions. That the bottom line is, when they split up, she gave up the Bulow name, which I personally think, from my opinion, was part of the agreement of the first divorce settlement. No, she gave up the Presley name, sorry, and started using Bulow. She even opened a clothing salon called Biss and Bow, yeah? She was happy to give that name up. But then when Elvis dies, she takes the name back. Now, to me, that is unheard of. Who does that? Who gives up a name, a marriage name, and then after the ex-husband dies, takes it back? It's just like, that speaks volumes to me. It was always, in my opinion, the Presley name was always about money and career. Yeah. So I don't like that. Yeah. And the other thing I don't like is the fact that Priscilla Presley, I'm not being hateful, I'm not trying to incite hate. These are just opinions, guys. I don't like the fact that Priscilla Presley has acted as if they were still together when he died, has acted like his widow. I just think that's wrong. She was never his widow. She had many other boyfriends. She was with Michael Garibaldi for over 20 years. I could list all the other boyfriends she had. I know them all. I've done videos, many videos about her relationships and Elvis's. And to speak about Elvis like they were still together the day he died is very untrue. Very, very untrue. And the Elvis fans know it. The Elvis fans know it. So I have issues with that as well. So, but this isn't about Priscilla. We're not here to talk about Priscilla. We're here to show Linda Thompson interviews. Right, let's keep looking. So in her own words, she hated the Presley name. I need to see that in writing, but it's possible. Let me see who we got here. Hi, Linda's here. Hi, Linda. Hi, Lily. Linda should have said that she chose to leave Elvis. That was Ginger. There was Ginger. Linda shouldn't say that she chose to leave Elvis. There was Ginger. Well, I think Lily. I think Ginger came along later. I think Elvis met Ginger at the latter end of 1976. So I think there's a bit of a gap, isn't there? Ginger was a lovely lady as well. All right, but this video is about Linda Thompson. Let me just catch your comments. He wasn't binge eating, sometimes obsessed over the same food every day for a while. Elvis did things to extreme. Yeah, I've read that, Nadia, and I've also read that a big part of the reason that his tummy area was swollen and his face was puffy was because it's side effects of the medication. He had a twisted colon, he had serious constipation. So this very strong medication caused his colon to be inflamed. So he would always look like he had a large belly. This is towards the end, in 1976, 1977. But his arms and legs were very slim. His face was puffy. I agree with that. So I don't believe that Elvis would just sit there gorging and binging on burgers. It's ridiculous. So, right, what else were we saying? Let's look. Maria. Hi, Maria. Elvis never wanted to marry because he knew it would be difficult to be with one woman. Temptation was all around him. He loved women and women loved him. Now, I think what you've just said there, Maria, is even true so you got Priscilla moving over to Gracelands when she was nearly 18. So anybody that thinks Elvis was with a 14-year-old, you are very wrong. You are very mistaken. I do believe that when she came over to America, Elvis, this is in the early 60s, so 62, 3, yeah? 62, 63, 64, 65. I do believe that Elvis wasn't ready to have a girlfriend. I believe, don't forget, he wasn't engaged to Priscilla. My opinion is that he made a mistake letting Priscilla move over because he had other girlfriends. He was seeing his co-stars. He was seeing different women. So I do believe, being fair to Priscilla, that in 62, the end of 62 and 63. Now I'm not 100% sure if she was there in 62, but let's say 63, when she was nearly 18. I do believe that Elvis wasn't ready to have a girlfriend. I do think that, and that must have been difficult for Priscilla because even though she never actually caught him, it was obvious that the Anne Margaret affair was quite obvious, and he was seeing other co-stars. Don't forget, he was still seeing even Anita Wood in 1960, and then you've got Juliet Prowse in 1960, but she hadn't moved over yet. She was obviously with her parents. My point is, I accept fully, being fair to Priscilla, that between 62 and until they got engaged in 66. December 66, it must have been difficult for Priscilla, but she knew what she was getting into. She was moving in with a superstar, the most wanted man in the world. So she must have known that he couldn't be faithful, that when he was going to these movie sets, stuff was going on. And I think, as cruel as it was, I think she accepted that. And I think I've even read it in an interview. It might have even been in her book. At first, she did accept it. At first, she was like, look, I need to understand I'm with a superstar, it's Elvis Presley. He's going to be unfaithful. And she hoped he would grow out of it. But I think then there came a turning point where Priscilla was like, I'm not putting up with this anymore. I think a bit of that happened. So some of you are going to disagree with me. I'm not sticking up for Priscilla. Please. Yeah, Nadia, but I'm not sticking up for Priscilla. Don't suddenly paint me as a Priscilla fan. I'm just trying to be fair. Yeah. Now, I do think that when Elvis committed to the engagement, now we have strong views about the engagement. He was pressured. I don't think he really wanted to get engaged. There are outside influences like his dad, Priscilla's parents, Colonel Tom Parker. I think that was, and we have some evidence to prove that he reluctantly got engaged and they very quickly got married on May the 1st, 1967. I believe, from all the research I've done and from sources that I've had behind the scenes, I do believe that Elvis, from December 66 till he found out about Steve Peck, the dance instructor. So through the pregnancy, even though he was going away on movie sets, I know that, through the pregnancy, during the birth obviously, which went around the world. You know, it was on the tabloids and on TV around the world. Same goes for the marriage. It went around the world, massive news. The whole world was watching. I do believe that Elvis was faithful for that period. I do believe that. Now, I don't agree with me or not. Please let me know. Do you agree or do you not agree that for that short little period, which we can work it out now, it was, let me just get it in my head. So December 66, they get engaged. Then there's 5 months to the wedding, May 67. Yeah. And by March, she's been unfaithful. So you can work that out. In under a year, I think for under a year, I know it's not very long, guys. Is that right? Actually, no, it's more than that. No, let me get it right. So December, then we go all the way round until, yes, because you have the wedding. So then you go all the way around a whole year until the birth of Lisa Marie Presley, God rest her soul. And she then for a couple of months, I think she's having these dance lessons. Who knows how long the affair had been going on for? We don't know. Is there a possibility the affair was happening during the pregnancy with Steve Peck? I don't know. What do you think, guys? You tell me. Is it possible that Steve Peck was seeing her, the 39-year-old man, the guy who owned the dance studio? Is it possible that Priscilla, just an opinion, guys, I'm putting it out there for you to answer. Is it possible that Priscilla was seeing the dance instructor, Steve Peck, during the pregnancy? I really hope not, guys. I really hope not, because that just, I don't like that. But a couple of months after Lisa Marie's born, Elvis finds out about the affair, or I don't know how Elvis found out. Someone told me that Memphis Mafia may have told him. Someone's told me there's a picture going round that Steve Peck and Priscilla were at the 68 comeback rehearsals. But I do think this, once Elvis found out that Priscilla had been unfaithful with Steve Peck, he then went on to film Love a Little, Live a Little. I think Susan Henning was around. Obviously, he was with her during the making of 68 comeback special. So I do think after Elvis caught Priscilla being unfaithful, he was not going to be faithful. He didn't want to sleep with her anymore. And in my opinion, this is the real reason why he wouldn't sleep with her. It had nothing to do with him not sleeping with a woman that had had a baby. I truly believe that. I truly believe that this thing that has gone around the world for the last 40 years that says Elvis slept with a woman, Elvis would not sleep with a woman that's had a baby is completely rubbish. I totally disagree with this point. Not at all do I think for a second that Elvis would not sleep with a woman that's had a child. And as far as I know, Susan Henning, who he was seeing at the 68 comeback and a bit before that, had a child. So that completely proves that he would sleep with a girl that's had a child. And I think he was also seeing Deborah Lee. And she had a child as well. So the true reason, in my opinion, that he wouldn't sleep with Priscilla is because she'd been unfaithful. She'd been with another man. Elvis didn't want to touch her for that reason. And she had been healing because she had only just had the baby. So she was healing. And I think Elvis gave her time to heal as well. So anyone that says to me, Elvis won't sleep with a woman that's had a child, you are wrong, in my opinion. You are so far from the truth. And unfortunately, poor Elvis, God rest his soul, has had to put up with people saying that for 40 years. And even Priscilla, in my opinion, has insinuated it many, many times. It's one of the most asked questions that she gets. I've watched quite a few interviews recently, and she still says it. She still says that Elvis had strong views about sleeping with a woman that's had a child, but she doesn't say it outright. This is how it happens. Just so we're clear. And also, what I'm saying now, guys, is my opinion. Not fact, opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion. But this is what this is what happens. This is the trickery of the interview. Yeah, you get beautiful Priscilla being interviewed by people like Barbara Walters, etc., and many other interviewers. It's all nice. Lots of nice things are being said, but Priscilla is sat there. She knows that the nasty questions are going to start coming because all the interviewers are there for that reason, to be friendly, to say nice things, and then at the right moment, they strike like a snake. Would he sleep with you after you had the baby? Did you meet him when you were 14? Did he binge eat? Was he on drugs? Did he have a bad temper? Do you think he controlled you? Do you think he was a groomer? Suddenly all the questions come out, and this is how Priscilla uses the interviewers to badmouth Elvis without actually saying it. Now, do you get what I'm saying to you guys? These interviewers, and there's hundreds, some very famous interviewers. The most recent was Piers Morgan. She manipulates them. They play into her hands. They're like toys for her. Yeah? They're so predictable. These interviewers, they are so predictable. I would almost go to the point where sometimes they are actually so predictable that they look stupid. I don't want to call them stupid, but their actions are stupid because they're really playing into her hands. I think she's toying with them and has been for over 40 years. But these are my opinions. And I'm not saying it to create hate. I'm not saying it to, because I do not hate Priscilla. I clearly say that. This is not a hate channel. I must keep repeating that. I have to, because I don't want YouTube to get the wrong idea about our channel. Now, we are called Defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth. So this is what it's all about. Anything I say about any opinions I have is about defending Elvis Presley, because fans want the truth, because we just want the truth to come out so we can defend Elvis, because Elvis can't defend himself. Yeah? So that was my little speech. Let's have a look. Right, I'm just going to quickly check your comments. So, yeah, Diana, yes, I do believe Elvis was faithful to her till the point he found out that she was unfaithful. And I think that was the moment things changed. Totally agree, Diana. Nadia, I found it disturbing that Priscilla wrote she tried to starve herself during the pregnancy because she didn't want to be fat or unattractive. I've heard about that. I haven't read it myself. I've definitely heard about it. And isn't that in one of the movies? Something like that? Or that she threw herself down the stairs? Again, I haven't done enough research, so let's go to the next point. So Teresa thinks Priscilla married Elvis for his money, and many think that, guys. Many think that. I personally think she was very infatuated with him, younger, and she was hell-bent on getting to Gracelands. Was it real love? Probably not, guys. But who am I? I wasn't there. Of course, having anything to do with Elvis, Jane, gave her fame. Sure did. And we had someone, was it Jean came on the other day and said that she had actually met Priscilla at the gates, wanted his autograph, wanted Elvis's autographs, and Priscilla said, go away or I'm going to call the police. So I've also had things that are said that make her, and this is a genuine person. I'm sure it was Jean that said it. That story is horrible. And this is in 1968. So I'm not sure which house it was. Not good. Not good, guys. Diana, I also find it, till today, very weird that Priscilla Presley always claimed that the marriage failed because he was on tour all the time and Steve Peck was there before. Now, to try and be a bit fair, guys, during the pregnancy and the engagement, he was away filming. He was. And the reason I know that is because I'm pretty sure he made 3 films during that 1968 period. And 67, sorry. So he was away a lot. I'm not going to lie about that. He was away. If you break down the movies each year, he was making 2 to 3 movies a year. He would make every 3 months, he would make a movie. And, right, hello. Right. Right, shh, come on. Right, come on. Oh, it's just Gio, relax. Say hello. Oi. 1 second, guys. We're making a video from my kitchen. Oi, that's enough. No more. No more. No more. Ella. She drives me crazy. She drives me crazy. Let's have a look. Right, let's keep going. Right, I also find it till today very weird that Priscilla Presley always claimed that the marriage failed because he was on tour. Right, as I was saying, I want to be fair. 100%. When he was making his movies, it was through the time when she was pregnant, at the beginning of the birth of Lisa Marie Presley, and during the engagement. He was away making movies a lot. So you could think of that as you may. Now, when we say on tour, what I think their marriage was over after 1968 in March when he caught her with Steve Peck. But I do think that he didn't want a divorce. He didn't want to break up the family. He definitely didn't want to break up the family on behalf of Lisa Marie because he worshipped Lisa Marie. She was the most important thing in his life. So I do think for a couple of years they had a fake marriage for the public. They went on holidays. They even had a second honeymoon in Circle G Ranch. They also went to the JC Awards where he did that amazing speech. They also visited Muhammad Ali, visited Tom Jones at his shows. And they did a lot together in 1969, 1970, even 71. They went to loads of karate exhibitions, things like that. I do think there was a fake marriage. I call it fake Elvis news. So when you mention the tours, one of you have just mentioned he would go away and do the tours. The tours started in 69, didn't they? When a second comeback after the 68 comeback special. We have the Vegas comeback in that brand new hotel that was being built especially for Elvis. Yeah. I do think Elvis was going away for long periods of time, and I do think Elvis was seeing other people. He was, but their marriage was over. We have to understand this. And that probably did lead to her unhappiness and her running off with Mike Stone. Now, I am horrified with the circumstances behind how she met Mike Stone. And if you watch the interview with Mike Stone, who clearly describes every second of that relationship, exactly how they met, exactly how she sought him out. She made it very clear to him she wanted a divorce from Elvis. I think when you learn all that there was, I think, a real cunning plan to get away from Elvis, and Mike Stone was going to be the person she used to do it. Part of the reason, in my opinion, is because he was a champion, a karate champion, and Elvis wasn't going to stand up to him. I also think that financially, Priscilla knew once she left Elvis that she was going to become very wealthy, even though at first it is said she was like, I don't want any money. I don't want any money. And these things come up in the divorce settlement, the first divorce settlement. I think Mike Stone was used. I think she dropped him like a rock when she had no use for him. Again, these are my opinions, guys. So what I'm trying to say is that the wrongdoing wasn't all Priscilla. Elvis did wrong as well. I try and be fair. Now, please don't get this wrong, guys. It doesn't mean I'm a Priscilla fan. I'm just trying to be fair. Right, let's have a look. Yep, Diana, I know about Child Bride. It's extremely interesting. Now, a lot of it is hard to believe, but it definitely could be true, couldn't it? There could be a whole side to Priscilla. The fact that the Child Bride book says that everything was pre-planned. It included the mother and with Cary Grant and Sex for Favors, all that. I know all the highlights of the book. I've read half of it and it bores me. But 100% there could be a whole side to Priscilla that we don't know about. She's not the sweet, innocent person that we thought she was. But we don't know, guys. These are opinions. Many of you guys do believe that book is true. Many of you. And I respect that. Yeah, the thing about riding horses during a pregnancy, I think that's true. And I'll tell you why. Because there are video footage and pictures. Elvis did buy Priscilla a horse in 1967. You could even find the video. You could even find the video on YouTube. So it could be true that she rode a horse during the pregnancy. I mean, I hope she didn't. I don't know for definite. Again, these are opinions. Hi, Philomena. Hi, Patricia. I've heard the thing about her starving herself. Again, I don't know if it's true. These are just things that are being said by many of you fans. So Priscilla did not want a baby so early in the marriage. It's understandable, but you don't try to kill your embryo because of it. Well, I'm not going to say that she tried to kill her embryo. That's very extreme, but I know that you guys think it. And then, look, the thing about her not wanting a child so young and so soon after the marriage, I get that because she wanted to be part of his world. Elvis would love to go off and make the movies, which eventually led to him going off doing the Vegas shows. And she didn't want to be stuck at home. She wanted to be with Elvis. She knew, having Lisa Marie Presley, that her whole life was going to change. And Elvis was the kind of man that wanted his wife at home with Lisa Marie at Graceland or whichever home that they were in at the time. I do think Priscilla got tired of Gracelands, and that's why they started buying other homes. So, but I get it. You know, you're 21 years old. You want to party and have that exciting lifestyle with celebrities, you know, living the life of wealth in beautiful homes. And some people will say that a child ties you down. Now, in my life, it was the opposite. When I started having kids, I felt that it opened up my life and we did a lot more. We had a lot more holidays. We had a lot more experiences. But at the time, a 21-year-old girl having a baby, being pregnant, was probably worried that she was going to see Elvis a lot less once she'd had a child. I get it. Do any of you get it? I'll put it out there to you guys. You give me your opinions. Let's have a look. Teresa, I know many of you think Elvis was set up, especially with the Child Bride book. Right, Nadia. So everyone agrees he wasn't the marrying kind, not in his 20s or 30s and maybe 40s. I agree with that comment, only because you said 20s, 30s and 40s. I actually think Elvis in his teen years, 15, 16, 17, 18, even 19, was the marrying kind. I think Elvis Presley, if he had not have become famous, would have settled down and had a lovely family, a big family, and would have been a great dad and a great husband. I really believe that. I think fame changed everything, and it happened in his 20s and up. So that's my opinion on that. Scylla used Lisa Marie as leverage with Elvis because he so loved. Yeah, of course she did. And we know that from the divorce settlements. So yeah, in my opinion, I agree with that. Thanks, Maria. I've heard about that, Nadia, that they discussed abortion. I don't know if it's true, but I definitely have heard about that. And isn't it in one of the movies? Priscilla was more the marrying kind than Elvis. Priscilla wasn't more the marrying kind than Elvis. Well, I do think Priscilla wanted to marry Elvis, 100%. She wanted to bag him. She wanted him to herself. But wouldn't you? Honestly, guys, if you were 18, 19, 20 and Elvis was your boyfriend and he was going off doing movies and shows and he was getting all that attention from the girls and knowing how beautiful he was, wouldn't you want to marry him? Wouldn't you want to have him for yourself? Even maybe have a child with him to sort of tie him down? So, okay. I would love to have Suzanne Finstad to go live on our channel. That's a good idea, Suzanne. That's a good idea. I never thought of that. And they keep saying that she was going to bring out a new book. And this book has been re-released a few times, as far as I know, at least one more time. Because don't forget, this book is 1997. So, yeah, I'd love to interview her. Right, let's have a look. I would love to have Suzanne Finstad to go live on our channel. Yes. She talked, I don't believe it was Elvis in her life. Right, okay. Let's have a look. So I'm going to wrap this up soon, guys, because we've gone over an hour. But The good news is I'm going to do a phone live after this because I'm going to go for a walk, and let's have a look where we are. Where are we? I'm not going to promise you straight after because you know what happens. The world gets in the way. Right, where are we? Okay, guys. Well, I've had quite an interesting live, guys. I've enjoyed it. Let's catch up with the channels, with the comments. Now, please don't get the wrong idea, guys. I'm not a Priscilla fan. Please know that. Far from it. I am an Elvis fan through and through. I am one of these people that if I'm not fair, I feel bad. If I feel like I'm being unfair, I get a bad feeling. So Diana says, I also find it till today weird that Priscilla Presley always claimed the marriage failed because he was on tour and Steve Peck. I agree. That marriage did not fail because he was on tour. That marriage failed because she had set an affair, in my opinion, with Steve Peck. Because I think if she hadn't have done that, things may have been different. I think if she hadn't have started seeing Mike Stone, things may have been different. So, yes, if you want to see Elvis's house with Linda, it costs $200,000. I was reading about it today because someone sent me something. Priscilla wrote in her book that Elvis told her he didn't want to make love to her until he was sure that she would be healed. Okay, I'd have to read that myself. But thanks, Vibex. He felt attracted to Linda because she was anti-Priscilla. Oh, I don't know about that. She was flipping beautiful, sexy as hell. She was a beauty queen. She had an amazing personality. She's one of the most likable women I've ever watched in an interview. In fact, I want to make her my girlfriend. I'm only joking, guys. Yep, smart people are manipulated. And Elvis was very smart. Nadia, I agree with you with the pregnancy and the starving point. I'd have to see that in writing, guys. She was a Southern girl, and he always said his mama wanted him to marry a Southern girl. Fully agree. Fully agree. And isn't that the same with Ginger Alden as well? I believe that he really wanted a soft, loving, and spiritual Omen by his side. Omen by his side, someone on his wavelength. Yeah, but not just spiritual, also religious. Because we've got the spiritual stuff, which I understand, you know, the Larry Geller type stuff. But then we've got the Christian man. There's a difference, isn't there? You've got spiritual religion, Christianity, and we've got spiritual to do with the real person inside us. That's how I see it. Yeah. So Philomena, hi Philomena, I hope you're well. Priscilla did not want a baby so early in the marriage. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it would break good if they made a movie about Child Bride. Do you know what, Jane? I'd like the research to be on Child Bride to be 100% good. I know that she did made them. I've read about the making of Child Bride, and she did make them do lie detectors, and I think she made a lot of them sign things to prove that what they were saying was genuine. So if they're going to make a film, I'd want it to be watertight, yeah, so that we're not just spoon-fed people's opinions. I do think there is another side to Priscilla that we don't know about. I do. That's just my opinion. I believe that she has lived a life of luxury of Elvis's money, the best homes, cars, clothes, cosmetic. Once she got his money, she didn't need Elvis anymore. Lesser, 100%, you're right. I fully agree with that comment. Lesser. Lily, she could live with him until LA during the movies. Right, Elvis stayed because of Lisa. I agree with that as well. I actually think that the reason they didn't split up in 68, just after Lisa Marie was born, was because of Lisa. Elvis was not going to break up the family. This is why Elvis was so angry and infuriated when he caught her with Mike Stone in 71. He knew once he caught her being unfaithful with Mike Stone, it was so upset him so much, he knew it was over. He knew it was over. Right. Many of you think Elvis was set up. Everyone agrees he wasn't the marrying kind. We've done that. I think he was until he became famous. Right, let's have a look. Elvis did see other women, but Priscilla wrote along of two wrongs. Did Elvis see other women? Sure, he was surrounded by starlets. I'm not saying what Elvis did was right. No, Elvis was a human being. That's John Brooks. Hi, John Brooks. He was a human being. Yeah? He gave in to temptation. I will never paint Elvis out to be an angel when it comes to women. Yeah? But as a person, he was I'm not even going to use the word beautiful. He was a very decent man that only wanted to do good and help the world, and actually felt guilty that he'd had so much success and money and always put himself second. Always. And he was a Christian man. He was the best son you could ever have for his mother. Elvis was a lovely guy, guys. I've read so many things and watched so many things. He really did go out of his way to help as many people as he could. He was a beautiful soul, Elvis. Forget the music. Forget his looks. He was a beautiful soul here. And we know that, don't we, guys? Because we were touched by that. We were touched by his beautiful soul. And we all feel it now. Sometimes it gets us emotional. Yeah, sometimes. I've given my kids everything. She was only a child. Right. So Joy Lang. Hi, Joy. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good day. In her own book, she had the scene in the California that they argued and she was leaving. Elvis threw the vase at her and told her more or less that he knew she was cheating. Now, I don't know if this vase throwing ever happened, but behind closed doors, who knows just how horrible that argument was once Elvis found out about Mike Stone. It must have been very ugly. The problem is that blame Elvis's affairs and she... Right, Lily, I can't see the end of that comment, sorry. The problem is that she blames Elvis for his affairs and if she was faithful. As if she was faithful. Right, okay, got it. Yeah, they were both unfaithful, guys. They were both clearly unfaithful. This wasn't just on Elvis. I caught it and let it fly free. What are you on about? Butterflies? Am I missing something? Elvis? Have you just caught a butterfly and let it fly free? Because that's beautiful if you have. Is that what you're talking about? Elvis would do anything for anybody else. He had a beautiful heart and soul. What a great ending to this live stream. Oh, I see it. That's lovely. Deborah, hi Deborah. Hope things are going well with the diet. Everything going good? Do I need to help you? Let me know. So I'm going to go now, guys. I'm going to drive into town and spend some time with the kids. I do want to do another phone live. I'll probably do it a bit later. Everything is good. Good. Deborah, stick with it. Stick with it. I was dysfunctional relationship. Yeah, we've all had dysfunctional. It was a dysfunctional relationship. It certainly was. We've all been there, haven't we? Priscilla threw a vase at Elvis about seeing him and Anne Margaret. He could have done. But do we really know? Enjoy your day. Thank you, guys. It's too hot here in the UK. That's why I don't have a top on, guys. It's just too hot. Thanks, guys. I want to say send you all love. I'm going to come back. I will do a live tonight. I'm going to try and do another 1 or 2 phone lives. I know phone lives are very different. Thank you to Team Elvis. We've been on 1 hour and 15 minutes. We've had a great chat. I've loved it. And there's more to come. So peace out, guys. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed it. You guys are the best. I love Team Elvis. Thank you, everyone. And anyone that is helping me behind the scenes, because I am getting loads of information given to me now. I appreciate it a lot. You know who you are. Well, the phone lives now have massively reduced the amount of its views we're getting. So really the trolls, we don't get hardly any now. So, okay, guys, we're out of here. Take care. Love you all. Bye, Team Elvis.